All right, everybody. Thanks for joining in this morning. I hope you had a good week. It's Friday. We got the weekend coming up, some more playoff football, so it should be pretty exciting to watch and see who moves on to the next round. Um, I want to talk this morning real quick about the Jets head coaching search, which still is dragging on, still is going on, still the Jets being the Jets. And what I mean by that is they're going to drag their feet and they're going to end up getting somebody that they're going to have to settle with. Um, but anyway, let's go ahead and start off with this. As we all know, a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, whatever it was, Mike Vrabel was hired by the Patriots right after they fired Gerard Mayo, and everybody kind of saw that coming. Firing Mayo, but the problem I have with it is this: is that the Jets interviewed him, like he was one of the first guys they interviewed, like January 1st or 2nd or 3rd, something like that, something around that area. And apparently, from all accounts, that the interview went really well. Everybody was happy with each other, and it was going around that Vrabel was going to be maybe going to be the guy, maybe going to be the guy they hired. Apparently, the Jets wanted him. They interviewed him first, but they decided to drag their feet and just kind of mess around, and we'll give everybody else a chance because God knows everybody wants to just come here and coach this team who hasn't had a winning season in 10 years, hasn't been in the playoffs in 14 years, but everybody's standing in line to come here. So we'll go ahead and we'll wait, even though they never went good with the guy that we were supposedly want. Let's wait. Well, the next day or two after that, I think, and I made a video, and I mentioned this in one of my previous videos that, once the Patriots, Robert Kraft and the Patriots heard that the interview went well, he wasn't going to let Vrabel go to the Jets. And I don't even know if Vrabel really wanted to go to the Jets. Maybe he wasn't going to go there anyways. But Gerard Mayo's fired. The next day, they didn't take their time, the Patriots. And I'll tell you right now, you can hate them all you want. The Tom Brady era where they just dominated the whole football for 20 years. You can hate on them all you want. But they make moves. They make moves. They don't sit around and think about it and procrastinate. And what are we going to do? We know everybody wants to come here because this is such a great place. They don't mess around. That was the guy they wanted. They interviewed him. He was free. Boom. Head coach. That's all. They didn't have to hire. They didn't have to interview 15 guys and just pull straws and see who. No, they don't. They don't do that. You know why? Because that's not the kind of organization. That's why they're going to be winners. I'll tell you something right now. They're going to be winners again before the Jets are winners. Watch and see that, because they don't sit around and wait. And I wasn't big on Vrabel anyway. I really wanted the Jets to get an offensive minded coach, but Vrabel, probably out of the whole crop of coaches, he's probably the best out there. He's got lots of experience, got playoff experience. He's a winner. He comes from an organization that has no mess around kind of atmosphere. I believe he could have whipped the team into shape with the right offensive coordinator and offensive coaching. I think that would have been a good hire, but not for the Jets. Of course not the Jets. They're going to sit around and wait and act like this is a job that people are standing in line for. So they blew that. Let's just say what it is. They blew that. I think it's got something to do with Woody Johnson's arrogance, or I don't know what exactly it is, but I think that has something to do with it. So that was a little frustrating to see. If that was your guy, why didn't you offer him something? Why didn't you throw him an offer? Even if he would have denied it, declined it, didn't want it, at least show the fans, listen, we tried to get this guy. We told you we wanted this guy. The interview went well. Why didn't you throw him an interview? Why didn't you throw him something? Throw him a contract, offer, something. No, they didn't. Of course, they didn't do that because they're going to wait around and sit on their hands. So now the Patriots swooped right in, got Vrabel because that was who they wanted, and that's a done deal. So, anyway, let's talk about the other people that they've interviewed so far. Ron Rivera, no. Rex Ryan, no. Matt Nagy, no. Steve Spagnuolo, no. Vance Joseph, these guys are all no's. Arthur Smith, Brian Flores is coming to be interviewed, I think, on Friday. And I'm going to be quite honest with you, this Flores guy scares me. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm not saying he couldn't be a good coach. He was a good coach in Miami. I just don't like the fact that he's got all these problems with the NFL. I think he's in the middle of suing 3 or 4 teams for some kind of racial discrimination stuff. I don't know. Just look at the red flags and see that, maybe, I don't know. Just think about it real quick for a second. But to me, Flores, no, that's another no to me. And And I don't think Rex Ryan or Ron Rivera are probably the two out of all those names I just mentioned that are even going to get the job. I mean, I don't think so. Everybody's all excited about Rex. Hey, Rex is coming back. Rex is out of football. I mean, he's been out of football for a long time. I think it's past him. I do think he could maybe be a rah-rah kind of guy, but I don't know. I wasn't too excited about that either. The Jets also they went through an interview with Jeff Ulbrich, what they had to, because he's the interim head coach, but he was 3-9 after replacing Robert Saleh. That's not going to happen either. And I'll tell you right now, if they give that job to him, I am no longer a Jet fan. I promise you that I won't be. Because I know now that they don't want to do anything to help themselves. And there was another guy, Darren Rizzi. He was also an interim head coach with the Saints or something like that. But these are just guys I think they just go through the motions to do. Apparently, the Jets also talked with the Texans offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, and have requested an interview with the Bills offensive coordinator, Joe Brady. Now, I think that would be probably, if they could get this guy, the Bills offense is just scary. I mean, they lost Stephon Diggs, and they still Josh Allen, they're still putting up points. The Jets over the past, I don't know how many years, 8-10 years, they're the bottom 7-8 of offense. They have no offense. We're lucky if we get 20 points a game, and you can't win games in the NFL in 20 points. Just look at their record; it explains it. I think this would be a good hire if they could lure this guy from the Bills. He's an AFC East guy. Get him off the Bills. Get him to head coach, offensive guy. I don't know. I think that would be a great hire. And apparently they haven't even requested an interview with the Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, or the Commanders offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. They haven't even asked for interviews for these guys. So I don't know. I don't know if they just don't want them or they just don't think they'll come. I don't know, but at least ask. Maybe after the playoffs or something, because you know what they're going to do here. They're going to sit on their hands and they're going to do nothing, and then they're going to end up with whoever, and then they're going to push this person on the fan base, say this was our guy all along, when you know that's bullshit. No, it wasn't. You just had nobody else to hire. But I feel sorry for whoever's going to get the job, because they're going to be pushed onto the fans like this was our guy, and you know darn well that it wasn't their guy. But I think this video, I want to really concentrate real quick on Aaron Glenn. Now, I like Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's an old Jet guy. Back in 1994, he was drafted 12th in the first round. He was a defensive back on the Jets for years. He played a couple of quick stints here with the Texans, the Cowboys, I think Jaguars, and I think he ended up his career with the New Orleans Saints. Played a few games there and stuff like that. Now he is a fan favorite, and it seems like this is the new flavor of the month they're pushing. Last 3 weeks ago, it was Rex Ryan. You know, they're trying to say Rex is going to come in here and change. Now he's kind of passed by. Now the new thing is Aaron Glenn, and I like Aaron Glenn. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to see the Jets do what they do in the past, and that's hire a guy that has no head coaching experience. And I know this is what's going to happen. So I don't want to see this. I really just don't, unless it's an offensive guy. Like we need an offensive minded guy. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and about this very thing, and they were like, "Well, what about Adam Gase? What happened there?" Well, Adam Gase was never a good coach. He was never a good head coach. He wasn't a good coach at Miami. He was an offensive coach, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Jets put up more points with him than they did these last two guys. So I don't know. He's not a great coach. He wasn't a good coach, but they were laughing stocks then. They're laughing stocks now. So I want to see them go an offensive-minded head coach, because that's where the NFL is. The NFL is not a defensive league anymore, even though defenses, in my opinion, still win games. But it's an offensive league, and every time you turn around, they're making making it more easier for passes, for runs, holding calls on defense. You can barely sneeze at a guy now, and you got pass interference or defensive holding or something. They're trying to make the league even more high scoring. So that's kind of what I wanted to see the Jets do. I don't know what they're going to do now. But let me give you a little brief history on Aaron Glenn's. After he left the Jets in 2000, let me see okay, I jotted some notes down here. Okay, in 2012, Aaron Glenn was a personnel scout for the Jets. And in 2013, he became the college area scout. Now, I don't know if he just quit after that or they just didn't need that position anymore. But in 2014, he was the assistant defensive backs coach because Aaron Glenn was a defensive back his whole career. That was 2014. 2015, he became the assistant secondary coach for the cornerbacks on the Cleveland Browns. In 2016, he became the defensive backs coach on the New Orleans Saints, and he became the secondary coach in New Orleans from 2017 all the way through 2020. He left there to become the defensive coordinator for the Lions in 2021, and he's been there ever since in 2024. One thing I can say is I have to give him kudos for what he's done with Detroit. Their defense has just absolutely been decimated, and he's still keeping it together. He's got secondary guys in there. He's got backup guys in there. They're still playing good ball. I still think, in my opinion, I think the Lions are going to get all the way to the NFC Championship game. I'm just afraid they're going to lose because their defense is so decimated. I hope not. I'm kind of rooting for Detroit to win it this year. Their fan base deserves it for sure. They have been right there with the Jets as a laughing stock of football up until 3-4 years ago. Now they're a contender, and we are still getting jokes made on NFL shows. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I'm not, and I know this isn't going to be very popular with Jet fans out there, and I hope you guys leave me a comment after my video. I'm not really cool with this if they hire Aaron Glenn. And I tell you, I like Aaron Glenn. I do. I just don't want to see the Jets go this route with a first time head coach again. And if they do, it's because they're just sitting on their hands. They're just doing what the Jets do, being arrogant and just thinking that everybody wants this job and we can just have our pick of the crop. Well, they can't. They can't and they won't. I hope Aaron Glenn, if he does come to the Jets, I hope the Jets go 17-0 with him and win the Super Bowl. But I don't think so. And I'm just not a big fan of this if this ends up being their hire. I hope they do something else. But anyway, that's my video on that for today. Thanks for listening and watching, and leave me a comment below. Tell me what you think. Maybe I'm way off base on this. I don't know. But that's just my own personal opinion. And please leave me a comment below and hit that like button if you enjoyed my video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Helps me out a great deal. I really appreciate everybody. Have a good day, and I'll be talking to you very soon. Bye now.